school.
Yeah. Well, they were going to be home today anyway because of
President's Day.
President's Day. Yes, because it is a holiday here. I'm being told that we're pushing live. I'm not sure if we're actually live yet, but I think we probably are. Yeah. Hello. Good morning.
Live Monday dance.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh, welcome to Master Your Mind, everybody. We're just talking about snow because it is a winter wonderland where I am right now. And that's quite unusual because we don't get a lot of snow here. So it's neat.
Yeah, it's neat when you don't have it all the time.
Yeah.
I actually like the snow. I get sick of it when it gets to be like March and it's still snowing or April. That's when I'm like, okay, I've had enough. Let's get into spring.
Where it gets real hot here. And so having it snow and having it actually on the ground enough to, like, dare say make a snowman is really unusual because the ground is usually so warm.
Yeah.
But it's starting to ice now, which is usually our story. So I was awakened in the middle of the early morning hours with feeling like somebody was tapping on my window. And then I thought, oh no, that's sleet. So yeah, it's just really cold, and it's a good day to stay inside and wear a cozy sweater like I have on, and I'm just grateful for it.
And drink hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate and all sorts of hot things.
Soup and stuff. But today we're talking about something really interesting that's beneficial to your health, it's beneficial to your soul, your mind, everything. And it's about breathing or breath work and why it's so important.
Yeah, it is really, really important.
Yeah.
And something that people don't think about. So Kendra and I teach all of our clients, whether it's in our group programs that we host or one-to-one coaching, we teach everybody that you have to go back to the breath. The breath is the only thing that will immediately bring your mind and body together back to this moment. And also, usually when we're going about our day, you stay busy, right, Kendra? I know you do.
I do.
And I do. And so many people who aren't mindful get lost in that busy. And what happens, just from a medical standpoint, I'm going to really go the doctor route on you right now, but from a medical standpoint, what happens is we unlearn how to breathe, because all of our energy and attention is going to whatever task we're on. And so our body, our subconscious mind, takes it kind of puts everything else on like a minimum usage. It's as though the electricity's gone out in a building and you're switching to generator power. And the generator only operates the necessary functions in the building just so that you can get by, but you don't have all the extra frills. Making sense? Is this analogy working for you? So your subconscious mind starts shutting down all these systems because they're like, oh, okay, well, we don't need the heart to beat fast, and we don't need the breath to be deep, and we don't need this, and we don't need that. And so you're at this low level of usage. When you're at a low level of usage for your lungs, less oxygen's coming into your body. And the average adult, this is really important, shocking, and sad, I believe. The average adult only uses a third of his or her lung space for about 90% of their day, waking day. Mm-hmm. Which means taking a deep breath like I just took, where your rib cage, the lower part of your rib cage expands, is so important. Because if you're only using, like my lungs, that's, if I'm only using this much of my lungs, the oxygen to my brain is depleted, and your brain needs oxygen to think. So it's actually a disservice to whatever you're focused on, because your brain can't work as well because there's not enough oxygen in your body. So just from a medical standpoint, we need to focus on what Kendra's talking about today, because we don't on a daily basis, and it's really bad for us. Everything in your body works at a lower capacity if your oxygen level isn't high enough.
Yeah. Breath, I have to say, one of the things that Dr. Jane and I are always doing is learning new things too as we go along. And I have to say that learning about breath work and how to breathe properly has been a huge eye-opener for me in terms of how it literally affects your health as much as it does. I did really, I mean, I knew we all had to breathe, and it's good for you, you know, in order to sustain life. I mean, we all know that, right? But
Yeah.
it's really also more than that in terms of, I mean, it's good for your brain, but it's also your whole physical body. It's so some of the history of breathing or breath is that when we started out as Neanderthals, as you noticed, you know, when back in the day, we looked different back then. And this has to do with breathing through the nose versus breathing through the mouth. There's a big difference.
Yeah.
And people need to breathe through their nose. Like for instance, and anyway, so when humans started not breathing through their nose like they should, because there's a reason why breath is going into your nose. There's all these little things in here. It's just amazing. The nose doesn't get a lot of attention in with anything. You don't hear anybody talking about your nose and how it works with your entire body. It's really amazing. But when humans started breathing through their mouth more, it literally changes the shape of your entire face. It changes your palate. It changes how, so people that are breathing through their mouth a lot tend to get, it literally changes the shape of your palate, and it changes the airways, and then they get stuffed up, and then they have to breathe through their mouth. And it literally, a lot of people that have had uh, um, things like allergies, chronically stuffed up heat noses and stuff like that have shown really good benefits in breathing properly and breathing through your nose. It's really super interesting, and I didn't realize how it affects our health so in so many ways. And we use that. Master Shri Akarshana has taught us how to do some breathing exercises and breath work. And it's super important to be able to have to do these on a regular basis in order to, exactly what Dr. Jane was just saying, in order to breathe properly, in order to give our body the oxygen that it needs in order to function.
Well, and just think about if you kind of shy away from the breath, and you were talking about how good it is for the other parts of your body, just think about what you do. So anybody who's watching right now, whether you're live with us, hello, welcome, give us a hello in the chat, tell us where you're from if you are joining us live, or if you're on replay, go ahead, hashtag replay in the comments or the chat. But just think about it. Let's everybody do a nice deep belly breath together, and then notice what happens to your body. Okay, ready? Play the game, Kendra?
Yep, ready.
Deep in through your nose. Hold it at the top. When you're doing deep breaths, always try to hold it just a little bit and feel it, and then out. Sometimes I'll go out through the mouth. If I'm stressed out, this is just a quick little bonus tip. When I'm stressed out, I allow my breath to go out through my mouth, and I make a noise. It's very soothing, and it actually helps to relieve stress and anxiety. But did you notice, if you played along with us during that little game, when you take a deep breath in, what happens to your spine? You like straighten up, just instinctively you straighten, and everything lines up. Sometimes you might have a little crackle, snap, crackle, or pop back there. And it just realigns your whole body, and it's because you're breathing, but it's not the air that's doing it. You just instinctively open up because we sit like this too much, and that compresses our lungs. And this actually, it's like an accordion, it gives your lungs that chance to open fully.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. I just think like it just
the other point that I want to make too is if we're not breathing properly, as we get older, we lose our lung function. And that's when things like disease and everything else comes in. You have to use your lungs. It's one of those things that your lungs will actually get smaller, believe it or not, if you're not using them properly. Some other things that people deal with a lot is maybe you're a snorer and you breathe through your mouth at night. If you practice some of the breath work, and we have some breath work things on YouTube as well, but if you practice your breath work and breathing through your nose regularly and you get used to that at night, you'll also be able to breathe through your nose at night more instead of through your mouth. It's an interesting subject and an interesting topic, in terms of, I just am super surprised at how much of your health, diabetes, cancer, and all that stuff is affected by either breathing properly or not. So
You'll notice anytime that you're in the hospital, or if you've visited someone in the hospital, the doctors bring you this really lightweight, cheap plastic thing with a long tube, and they tell you to breathe into it, and you're supposed to float the ball. Do you know what I'm talking about?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter if you have cancer. I remember I used to make my mom, they were like 3 times a day, have her do this many times. And at that point, this was years ago, at that point I was like, okay, how's this going to help her cancer? But it was helping to do exactly what you just said, keep her lungs supple so that she could have that air in, and the air, obviously the oxygen helps her. We have a couple of folks saying hello.
Great.
Hello, Justina. Hello, greetings from Arizona. We have someone from
Oh,
Arizona.
from Arizona. Yay.
Much warmer there than you and I are experiencing right now.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, definitely. But there still is that Arizona's even experiencing unusual cold at the moment.
Texas too. Texas, same thing. There was some really bad car accidents down there because of ice on the road.
Here's a little bit of history or trivia. For the first time in recorded history, last night, the entire state of Texas, and that's a lot of land, the entire state of Texas was under a winter storm warning at the same time.
Wow.
The Mexico border all the way up to the Panhandle. So yeah, very unusual.
That's
So
amazing. Yeah.
interesting times. But those times, you like to cuddle up and do this.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to stretch out and let that cold air in, because that's even good for you. One thing, Kendra, I have a deviated septum. Just naturally, I was born with a deviated septum. I'd always wondered why everyone, at least in my maternal family line, was like championship snorers. Even the little kids, we could my snore can rock you right out of the bed. Like, it's like I'm a snorer.
That's what that noise was when we stayed at your place.
It was me on the other end of the property. Yeah, that's what you were hearing. Absolutely. But so when I learned that, I was like, oh, because I've always wondered, I'm in good shape, I'm not overweight, why am I a snorer too? My mom was a snorer. My granddad, really could hear him at the other end of his home. Like, he was severe, but it's a hereditary trait. So I was breathing through my mouth a lot, and there's a tool. It's actually a Himalayan vessel. It's the shape of an elephant's head. It's called a neti pot, Neti.
Yeah.
And you can put a saline solution in there. And at first I was like, there's no way I'm doing this, but it actually feels really good. I keep mine at my kitchen sink, and I have the saline packets that I can put in, and with my Kangen water, with my alkaline water, to flush my nasal passages. And even though my deviated septum is not blocked nasal passages, it's something it's like a construction flaw, I suppose. But it helps. And I've noticed that my breathing exercises in yoga, when master leads us, when you or I are leading breathing, is much easier. So if anyone does say, oh, well, I have allergies, my sinuses are always clogged, this may not completely fix it, but you just fill the vessel with, please make sure that it's warm but not hot. Cold feels like you got pushed into a bad swimming pool, and hot is like, dear God, make this stop. So warm, warm water, and you just tilt your head, and you put the little elephant snout to your upper nostril, and the fluid runs through your sinuses and out the other side. Clearly you do this over a sink. And whenever I'm going to do it, I'm like, everybody clear out. I'm sure that I'm very unattractive when I'm doing this, but it feels so good. Yeah. So actually I am a little stuffy right now, so not completely stuffed, but I'll do it when we're done.
Yeah, it makes a difference. There's a reason why the bodies were made actually to be able to breathe through your nose and not your mouth primarily. The information that I'm studying the guy did a study. He actually had his nose plugged off. It wasn't a study of just him doing it in his home. It was a real study to see what breathing through your nose and mouth does. And then they had him breathe through his mouth for 10 days, and it affects how you look. It affects the dryness of your mouth. There's reasons why you have your nose is built the way it is. It goes all the way down to your stomach. It's super interesting. So, and I was so really happy, like whenever we do yoga with Master, or he's always teaching some really good breathing exercises. So don't overlook that. If you're taking yoga, or if you see an opportunity to learn a new breathing exercise, don't overlook that. That's part of your health journey. That's part of
the essence of yoga. Breath is the essence of yoga. So if you're practicing yoga and you're like, let me perfect this pose and I'll deal with those weird breathing patterns later, you're totally missing the point. Get the breath pattern down first and then add the movement to it. It is the very essence of yoga is the breath.
Yeah, correct. And also, if you're not doing yoga, you still would want to look into doing some breath work as well, just for your physical health.
Absolutely. Breath work, it is clinically proven that a regular practice of deep breathing, and people, if you guys are like, I don't have time to start a regular practice, if you are listening to this right now, if you breathe anyway, if you brush your teeth, if you ever use the bathroom, if you lie down to go to bed at any point in the day, if you take just a second for yourself, you don't have to stop and do a dedicated practice to breath work. You can just have intentional deep breathing. Clinically, it is proven. And there's a reason that the doctors were like 3 times a day, have your mom do this 3 times a day. I'd say breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Super easy. We're going to do that anyway. When you're plating up your food, deep, deep in, deep, deep out. That is proven to reduce stress, anxiety, and to lessen the symptoms and impact of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD.
Yeah.
Very, very important. A lot of people struggle with these things, even if they're not clinically diagnosed, and it can make your life, it does make your life better. It's free and you always have it available to you.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, it's great. It's the new thing that it's not the new thing. It's a new thing that I've been aware of. I mean, I've always done some breath work, and I always knew that it was important. I've always been kind of a semi-athlete, and so.
Oh, I don't think you're a semi-athlete. Kendra's a workout fiend.
I'm a workout girl, but it's, I always knew it was important. I just didn't realize how critically important it is, particularly as you get older. And the fact that it can also change things, like if you're dealing with some health issues, if you start a good practice of breath work, it can also change some of the things that are going on within your body that are in the negative situation there for health.
And something that a lot of people do wrong when it comes to breath is that they hold it. They hold it when they're doing something that's that causes physical exertion or that's difficult. Like, just think about, I caught myself doing this. I'll tell on myself. I had a jar, I think it was a jar of pickles, and I was just trying to open the jar, and I held my breath, strained, and I mean, I got it open. But what you're supposed to do during the point of exertion, because we think holding our breath, like somehow, I guess we think that it makes us stronger in the moment. I don't know. But breathing out at the point of exertion actually increases our strength potential at that moment. So you breathe in during your breaks. So if you're lifting weights, let's just say I have, 10, 12 pound hand weights. I'm going to breathe in on the down, and I'm going to breathe out on the major point of physical exertion, which is the up. And it actually, like holding your breath and going, makes it feel real hard because it's making it more difficult.
Right. 100%. And we do that when we do yoga with Master, when we breathe in, we twist, we breathe out, we twist further. So same thing with flexibility, any of those types of things. If you're mobility, strength, all that, that's the way to breathe properly. But
I want to say hello to Jaime and Alicia.
Hey.
Jaime is joining us from California, and Alicia's all the way in the Philippines. Hello.
Wow, that's amazing. Welcome.
Welcome, welcome.
All right. Hey, did you have a good Valentine's Day yesterday?
It was a nice Valentine's Day. Yeah, just, home, snowed in with the family, and yeah, full of love, lots of cards and mementos. We played a lot of games. What about you?
Good. Yeah, we went out for a walk. We went to the ocean, went to the beach. Bugaboo's favorite, our dog's favorite place to go. She can sense, we're not even near the beach really. We're on the way, but she can sense that that's where we're going. And we haven't been there since December. She knew you don't see a beach, but anyway, it was cold, but it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then it was just a relaxing day at home. I did a little bit of work, and then the chef, I call him the chef, made a wonderful steak dinner, and
Nice. That's what I'm doing tonight.
yeah, it was great.
And filet, broiled filet. It's interesting you mentioned going to the beach. I love the beach. My heart yearns to be on the beach at any given time. And I really believe that more than any other time or place, when I am there at the shore with the waves and the wind and just that whole nature experience, and there's lots of different natural experiences that you can do. Go to the mountains, it's fine, but nothing quite does it for me like the beach does. Some people say that they get this feeling from the mountains or the desert, or the desert is quite beautiful as well, but I truly believe that the reason that my body loves the beach so much is because when I am there, I breathe more deeply on a consistent basis, and my body trains me, oh, this is good for me, so you should like the beach more.
Yeah. And it's true. We were there yesterday, and the waves were coming in, and you could hear the sounds and the seagulls, and there was snow on some of the we could see houses across the way, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful landscaping. But you take a deep breath in, a little bit of a breeze. It was very cool, and it's just the combination of the power in the water. It's very powerful. The nice breeze coming in, and you just fill your lungs and your abdominals with that nice fresh air and let it out. And it's just amazing. And that, along with feeling the sand, we had shoes on, but we could still walk. We were walking on the sand, and it was just great. It's just wonderful, even in winter.
Yeah. So why don't you, I know that Kendra teaches yoga. She guides breath work. Will you guide us through a breath exercise?
Yeah. So this one is one of my favorite ones. It's sort of going to sound like a buzzing noise in your head, but this one is particularly great if you're really stressed out and you need some calming down and you just want to clear your mind. So we're basically going to take our thumbs, and we have these little ear flaps here, right? You got little ear flaps. Leave them open, but just put your thumbs lightly on the ear flaps. Then you're going to take your, I think it's your index finger, and you're going to touch right here on your forehead. Now, I've also done it where you take your pinky and right underneath your nose like this.
Okay.
So we can do that. Now, when you breathe in, you're going to close your ear flaps, and you're going to hum, or you're going to go with your ear flaps closed.
On the in breath?
So let's do an inhale. Close your ear flaps, and then and then you can open your ear flaps. And you want to do this with your eyes gently closed. And just when you hear the humming noise, it's like a bee buzzing in your head, and just relax into it. So let's try that again. So inhale, close your ear flaps, and exhale through like a humming. And you can do that, 5 or 6 times, and any time of the day, wherever you're at. If you're in your car,
anywhere that you are, just make yourself look like this. You won't look weird at all.
No, and humming. I mean, people won't even notice.
I'm not like on the subway.
And you're going,
They're like, all of a sudden, nobody, you don't have to worry about anybody wanting to, get into your personal space because they want to be far, far away from you.
right.
Social distancing. At its
Definitely 6 feet apart with that one. But it is amazing at just relaxing your whole mind and your whole inner body. And you can do it, like I said, anytime, anywhere. And that's one of the ones that I taught in one of my yoga classes.
Have you ever done I think that it's called lion's breath, where you breathe in really, really, really quickly, you hold it, and then you breathe it out and you make a really funny face?
Never done that one.
So I'm going to do this, and I might
Okay.
actually pull this video down later because I'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I did that on video.
Well, we were just like this. So, I mean, what could be worse?
Nah. Be careful what you ask for, Kendra. What could be worse? Okay, so what you do is it's a deep belly breath in through the nose, and you breathe in just deeply but fully until you can't breathe in anymore. You hold it for just a few seconds, and then when you breathe out, this is a really, really great breath for releasing stress and anxiety for 2 reasons. Number one, the way that you're engaging the muscles, particularly in your face, because have you ever noticed when you're anxious or when you're all stressed out, this all tenses up, like because you're like frowning, you're concentrating, and all of this, and this like gets used to being crunched, and it doesn't need to be crunched.
No, it doesn't.
No. So first is the way that it uses your muscles, but the other reason that it diffuses stress is because it looks super silly. And well, at least that's why it like helps diffuse stress for me. And often at the end, and I probably will do it when I guide you through it. I really can't believe that I'm doing this because it popped into my mind a minute ago, and I was like, no, you should totally never do that on camera. And here I am, like just jumping right into that pool. So when on the out breath, you breathe out forcefully through your mouth while sticking out your tongue.
Yeah.
Open mouth, sticking out your tongue, and you roll your eyes up so you kind of look like, think of one of those Chinese New Year dragons or lions that they'll dance through the street with the big lion head or whatever, and they're like, that's really what you do.
Okay.
You want to do it?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Everybody do it together. Kendra and I are the only ones.
Yeah, okay. Everybody do it together. Ready?
All right, so we're going to breathe in deeply through your nose.
Okay.
And out. You know what I mean?
It's great because it makes you laugh, and it actually felt good on my face. I don't move my face in that way ever.
This is really, really good for jaw tension as well. If any of you guys have TMJ, lockjaw, you grind your teeth at night. That's been a problem for me. I actually wear a guard over my bottom teeth in case I start to grind again, so I won't damage my teeth and my gums, but it really helps. So we'll do it again. It also helps. One of the things that Master has taught us is the number one most neglected area of stretching that can help you the most is your eyes. Yeah. And so it helps to stretch. So if you're doing that way far up and you're like, oh my gosh, I can feel it under here, I can kind of feel it, you're actually stretching muscles. So if you're going to stretch your body, sometimes people will do this, they'll do this. Don't forget about your eyes. Do, eye exercises so that, do it right now, and you'll feel the different places that the muscles are kind of like, oh, I'm not really used to doing that. So it helps to stretch your eye muscles as well. And if you want good eyesight, good eye health, it's very important to me. I do wear glasses to read. You guys see me pulling them on and off if I want to read the little type. I do eye stretch exercises, and it's actually, my optometrist has been surprised at my lack of need for a higher prescription over the last few years since I've been doing this. So it really does help, because you lose eyesight because your muscles lose their ability to correct. So great, ready to do the
ready?
Yeah. Again. And at the end, like when you're breathing out, make that sound like, kind of like a silent roar, or not silent roar, but soft roar. Ready?
Yep.
In through the nose. And out.
I hope everybody was doing that with us. I hope it wasn't, and no taking photos and posting it, okay,
Oh
guys?
gosh. If you guys were doing that with us, then you didn't really see our faces because you were doing it too. So yay. We've got
The other thing with the eye thing that Master has taught us, and we did this the other night, I'm taking that yoga class, and it helps with your flexibility doing eye exercises, your body flexibility.
balance.
Who
Balance.
thought that, right? Like if you, and he showed us how it works, and it's pretty amazing. So regular eye exercises. So that one that Dr. Jane just taught us takes care of some breath work as well as your face and your eyes.
Yeah, so we gave you two that you can't do anywhere, but here's one that you can do anywhere. It's very easy. It also helps to train your lungs. So if you have not been using the full capacity of your lungs, and Kendra said a little while ago, when you don't use it, you lose it. Just like anything else, if I've been working out for years and I'm doing bicep curls and I've got a nice bicep muscle there and I stop doing bicep curls, that's going to deplete, right? So if you don't use it, you lose it. So if you don't use your full lung capacity, you lose it. So the chances of all of us having perfect 100% lung capacity right now is very low, because I'm guessing that most of the people watching are adults. So what is a way for you to increase your lung capacity if you have lost lung capacity, and that is the box breath. So box breathing is very simple. And I think that it's just called box because it's even. The sides of like a square are even. I guess it could be called square breathing too, but it's called box breathing. And so you take air in for however many counts. You hold it for that same amount of time. So in, hold, out, and then you hold the out. So I'll usually tell people to start with 4. So in 4, hold 4, out 4, hold the out 4. In 5, hold 5, out 5, hold the out 5. And that trains you, and you can just keep increasing and increasing. So why don't we do 4, 5, 6?
Okay, that sounds good. Yep.
All right, so I'm just going to count on my hands. I guess I'll have to pull up the other hand when we get to 6. All right, so I'm going to count like on my hands because I'm not going to be speaking because I'm going to be breathing. Ready?
Yep, ready.
In. Out. Hold. In. Out. Hold. In. Out. Hold. So that's box breathing. You can go up higher than 6. You can go up as high as you want. And when you're doing it kind of at that pace, you may start to feel a little lightheaded, and that's fine. But you can do box breathing, even if you want to say, I'm not going to work on my lung capacity right now, which would be why you would work up the numbers. If you just say, you know what, I'm going to do a box breath 5 right now. I'm sitting on the subway. I'm waiting for this phone call. I'm in a waiting room. I'm in a line. I saw a study the other day about how much of our lives we spend in lines. Use your time standing in line. I'm in line at the bank. I'm in line at the fast food restaurant. I'm in line wherever, especially these days with social distancing. We're waiting a lot more because there's less staff at the places where we need to go get serviced. There are fewer people allowed in. There's a lot more waiting. Use your waiting. You can just say, I'm going to do a box breath of 5, or I'm going to do a box breath of 6 while I'm sitting here. And really,
I love that one.
Yeah, you can do it anywhere because you don't look weird. You don't have your hands all over yourself and you're not going,
that might scare the person that's in front of you.
Yeah, I'll have a double espresso.
The other thing too is that one, the box one, like let's say you're waiting in line and you've been waiting in line a long time and you're starting to get anxious. Doing that helps with keeping calm and keeping your inner calmness while chaos is happening around you. I really like that one a lot. And here's another reason I like that one. It forced me to stay present. It forced me to be thinking about my breath and concentrating on my breath and to stay present in my moment. And so that is a good practice of being able to stay present in your day. So if you're practicing that, your body's going to start, or your mind is going to start being able to stay present more often all by itself, instead of you having to think about staying present.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I actually did that a couple of days ago because I was in line. We were expecting an ice storm, and in my area, we're not prepared to drive in that type of weather because we're not used to it. So we don't have the equipment to scrape the streets, you know, the plows and stuff like that. So everybody pretty much, like, banks close, everything closes, everybody has to stay home. There's no bread or milk or eggs in the grocery store because everybody like goes and stocks up because you don't know how long you're going to be stuck at home. You want to make sure you've got plenty of the basics. But so I ran by the pharmacy. One of my daughters needed a medication that was prescribed to her, and I was in line in my car, and in front of me, I could tell from seeing in the mirror, was an older gentleman. And I mean, it was the shorter line when I got in. There were 3 cars in this line and only one guy at the window. And I'm like, well, I'd choose the shorter line, right? All the other cars were gone. Somebody else pulled up after I got there. And I was started to get just really irritated because I'm like, okay, it's fine that the other cars are gone. But I mean, I actually thought about calling the pharmacy and saying, is this guy responsive? Like, do we need to call an ambulance? Because he's not moving. Like, you guys aren't doing anything with him. Is there a problem? Do I need to get in the other line? Should I come in? You know what? But right as I was thinking about that, I wasn't thinking those thoughts until after I was like, you know what? Just close your eyes, calm down, and do just a little bit of box breathing. It'll calm you down. Because I was starting to get anxious because I was like, we were expecting friends over that night. And I was like, TikTok. Okay, I still have to run by the market to pick up these things for our guests and get out of my way, you know, because you start to feel that anxiety, that pressure. You know, you have these other 2 stops to make, and you only have this amount of time to do it in, and you're not going to make it now because this, you know, elderly gentleman. I think he must have fallen asleep.
Probably something.
But I wasn't thinking concern for the other human being while I was thinking about myself. Oh my gosh, 45 minutes. I've got to stop by this store and this store, and then I've got to make it home. And there's all these cars out because everybody's stocking up for the ice. And that I wasn't thinking about the well-being of the other human until as soon as my breathing was done. And I thought, I wonder if he's okay, because this is really out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Like, it just reconnected me to the truth of my my humanity,
right,
and to the love of the rest of humanity. And then just suddenly, without interacting with there's kind of like, the pharmacy has these little tubes that come down. You send everything up through tubes because there's several lines. Without interacting with the pharmacy at all, he just drove away. So I was like, that's why I think he may possibly have been asleep. But, you know, it will help you in situations like that. One other, I think we have time for one more, if I may.
Okay, yeah.
My very, very favorite, when you are feeling anxious, one thing that I will say, and it's a breath that Master Shri Akashana likes to do a lot. I will say the breath where you're in, out, fire breath really, really fast. If you struggle with anxiety disorder, clinical anxiety, chronic stress, if you have PTSD, do not do that. For everybody else in the population, it's fine. It actually can even help you lose weight if you practice it every day. And, you know, you'll get a great set of abs. If you're really doing it, because your belly's like, you know, contracting. But for the rest of the population, those of us who do have anxiety, clinical anxiety, stress, or PTSD, depression even, I will recommend the 4-7-8. And the numbers just signify the count. It's like box breathing, but instead it slows down that production of stress hormones. It relaxes your body. It helps your mind. Just like you said, it brings you into that moment. You really have to focus on the breath. But in addition to that, the way that the oxygen cycles triggers all of the relaxation centers of your body, the feel-good centers of your body. So this is not one to do in the car. This is not one to do, you're going to, and you only need to do it for 30 seconds to 60 seconds at a time. So everybody has time to do it. But I recommend not doing it while you're standing because it can make you feel lightheaded. So Kendra, you're seated, I'm seated. Everybody who wants to practice it with us, just make sure that you're seated. It's a fast, vigorous, deep belly in for 4, filling your lungs to capacity. It's not easy to fill your lungs to capacity in just 4 counts, but it's really a rush in. You hold for 7.
Okay.
And then it is a slow shh with that shh, like sound shh for 8.
Okay.
So it's a vigorous in, it's a hold for 7. And while you're holding, notice the way that it feels. You can actually feel when you do this for a while and you get into the practice, I can actually feel the oxygen absorbing into my body. It's quite beautiful. So we'll do this together. We'll just do 3 rounds.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll just cue us with in, hold, out, but it's 4, 7, 8. Okay. All right. Everybody ready?
Ready.
We're going to go in, hold, out, in, hold, out, in, hold, out, that's great to do right before bed.
God, I'm going to do that tonight.
I know, it's kind of a little woo.
So relaxing.
It is so relaxing. It's fantastic. If you know anybody who has panic attacks and they start to have a panic attack, the first thing that they stop doing is deep breathing. They might look like they're breathing a lot. It's all right here.
Right. Short.
You don't have to explain the breath to them. Just tell them to breathe with your count. Okay, I just want you to breathe in really, really deep and hard. That's going to feel really good for the panic person because they want something that's strong. So,
yeah.
Okay, hold it for 7 and just count for them. Okay, you're going to shh it out really slowly for 8. Shh, and then you don't take a break there.
Just keep.
That's the part that makes you feel lightheaded.
Yeah.
The bottom of the box, when you hold the out, that is why you don't feel as lightheaded. But when you're 4, 7, 8, 4, 7, 8, 4 without a break, and I'd do 3 or 4 of these, see if the panic has started to subside. If not, wait 30 to 60 seconds, do 3 or 4 more, do them before bed as a prep. And I really like to do them when I'm lying on my back with my legs at a 90-degree angle, my feet up on something. That's also really, really great position to do right before bed. So this breath in that position is like the best sleeping pill in the world.
Or if you wake up in the middle of the night with anxiety or you're ruminating about stuff in your mind and you can't get back to sleep, you can try doing that as well.
Absolutely.
Very
well, I think that's all the time we have today.
Wow, that was quick. It goes by so fast. Great to see everybody here today. So happy to see all of you here on the beginning of this week. Monday, the start of a whole new week for us. So we're going to create our beautiful lives together. So exciting.
Fantastic. All right. Well, we will see you in a week. And don't forget, if you would like, I'll put the link in our chat. Our Master Your Mind mentorship is starting next week.
Sunday, right?
And yeah, and you can join us. So I'm going to put the link in really quickly. And if you'd like to join the mentorship, we still have some spaces. So there you go. There's the URL. We'd love to see you there.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.